You're listening to the Night Demon Network. Go to nightdemon.net/subscriber to unlock more exclusive content.
Hello and welcome to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. I'm your host Nesbit, and the Curse of the Damned album is 10 years old, and we're celebrating the milestone by diving deep into the stories behind the album. The release of the Ultimate Edition box set, we're diving deep into everything Curse of the Damned, including this, the opening track. We're talking to the members of Night Demon, Jarvis, Armand, and Brian, past drummer Dusty Squires, crew member Laura. This is Curse at 10, Screams in the Night.
Screams in the Night. I mean, what more can I say about this song than since this album was released, I don't think we've ever played a show and not played this song. It has definitely become, one of our hits, I guess you could say. I love this song. I absolutely love this song. And I think this song is the song that kind of saved the album, to be honest with you.
Screams in the Night. The pinnacle Night Demon song. Fan favorite. Probably one of the top 5. It's probably been played at, I would say, 95% of the shows since I've been in the band live. It's just one of those songs.
Screams in the Night. It's a crowd pleaser. It's a fan favorite. It's one of the most quintessential Night Demon songs.
And it's funny that this song came as an afterthought, as far as I know. It wasn't part of the initial batch of songs when we recorded the album that got scratched, that got shelved, the Run for Your Life album. So, sometimes songs come out like that, not something that you necessarily planned or had a space for on the record, but for some reason it came out and ended up being one of the favorite, live favorite songs and fan favorites.
The tie-in with the blood sacrifice comic, which came first? The comic came first. So we were already working with James Dufresne a lot on the concept, and he was like writing this story, and we were kind of writing it with him. It was getting a little convoluted, but he had the idea of the comic and the first issue, and so we just said, look, since this album was supposed to be some kind of a concept album, it wasn't in the end, but let's base it off the first scene in the comic. Let's tell that story in a song. So we had we were working on the music, and I said, let's try and write some lyrics based on this story. The first scene in the comic where, Eugene, as we call him, it's your classic horror movie scene, people making out in a car and the axe murderer comes, right?
The music video, pretty sure that was shot at the Majestic Ventura Theater here in town on the big stage. The band used a lot of fog, it's their own lights, stuff like that. Just real raw, simple band jamming. Good introduction to the guys. A little bit of story going on with the comic book thing. Some pretty cool shit.
The music video was great. Our friend Cody Carbum, a guy from Ventura, I think he had went to film school or something like this, and he was dating our friend Ocean, and Ocean's like, yeah, my boyfriend can do this, and so like sight unseen, never really seen anything that he did. We're like, yeah, let's do this. So we contacted our friends at the Ventura Theater and said, hey, we want to do a video, with this on like a big rock stage. So, it's a huge venue, an old theater built in 1928. And, we got to go in on an off day and just shoot it and do this live performance on stage and with lights and everything. And it was amazing, and the idea was, since we are telling the story of the first scene in this comic, let's splice in images of the comic to go along with the lyrics. So you can kind of tell the narrative a bit and not just have it like, oh, it's just a band playing on stage. Everybody does those performance videos, and this actually adds a little bit of storyline to it. So it actually worked out really fucking cool. And we just went and shot it in an afternoon, and that's kind of all we really needed to do. As an album opener, it works very well for, a lot of albums like to do an intro or a prelude, and we like to do that too. We did that on Darkness Remains. We did it on Outsider. We'll probably do it on the next album. Who knows? This one just kicks right in. It's a great opener. It's one of the best openers we've had. It's a great opener, and it's a great lead-off single for the album.
As far as an opener for the album, I think it works good. It's got good energy. It's got that chugging, riff in the breakdown that's really good. Kind of has everything you need, It's a faster tempo, good hooky chorus, and a good solo. And, I think it works really good as an album opener.
But the song overall is very straightforward, and there's, really not a whole lot to it, but it works. It's a great opener on the album. Screams in the Night. Obviously, this was a song that I contributed on with Brent and Jarvis. Started from scratch. I'm not sure where that riff came about. I know that Brent had some ideas with that, Jarvis as well.
As far as who wrote what on the song, we had just come home from tour. I think Brent had the riff, the bing, 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 but like the ding, 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 I came up with that. Like he had some other notes. I was always kind of good at that. Like if he started off a song, I would be very good at arranging it and changing a lot of the notes. So it's like rhythmically it would be the same, but like, okay, let's try this. And I also wanted to, I have this weird thing about not repeating stuff or having like an A, B, and a C section. So, you know, those hits that dun, 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 the second one is dun, 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 right? So it's kind of, I just try and make things a little bit more interesting and kind of play off of the same rhythms and the same riffs, but change things on the 2s and the 4s and stuff like that. So this first demo was recorded in the early summer of 2014. This is myself, Brent, and Dusty.
All alone as the night takes the day, two young lovers walk for some play. That noise you heard, oh, it's just in your head. Little do you know you're gonna wind up dead. Look behind you and told him to get you with this accident. Screams in the night.
Yeah, the demo's cool. It's the band playing the song live in the room, and then Jarvis overdubbing the vocals, you know, on his own. Good energy, feels about the same as the album cut, so you can tell at this point, I don't know how far in this is with the writing of the song, but yeah, it all pretty much seems to be there at this point. So yeah, it's just one of those things that you could tell, or even from this point, that you know the band was a tight unit. The songs are well rehearsed before going into the studio, which is always a big plus for people like me in my job. You know, when I'm producing bands, you know, rehearsal, get that shit down.
Dusty was in the band less than a year at this point. But again, we had spent all of our time together in that year, pretty much every day. There wasn't many days that we did not spend together, whether it was on the road or in the rehearsal room. At this point, you know, us all being homeless and jobless, we spent every day in the rehearsal room. You know, I mean, that was kind of our place the only place we could really hang out. And, you know, we were hungry. We were ready to take this seriously and just write some songs. Rock and Rick Hunter. Rick was a guy who we had known when we were kids. He was an older guy, and he had built this studio years ago, and we ended up, all of our bands, you know, renting rehearsal rooms in this big lockout place. And it's still there today. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of the place that had this magic. And so we were doing that. And yeah, I mean, look, this song is pretty much there. I think that there's some lyrics that I changed. I think like the first line, all alone as the night takes the day, two young lovers park to get away. On the demo version, I said two young lovers park for some play. So kind of like, you know, they're going to make out point or whatever it is, right? And I looking back, I should have kept that line, actually. I thought that was more clever and a little less literal. But that's not how it worked out. But this demo, so basically the way we would do this is like, you know, Brent had like this kind of Zoom recorder that had a stereo mic. So we would just set it in the middle of the room and play the song, you know, no overdubs, and just play it through. There is a difference here after the solo. On the final version, we go bum 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 bum. On this one, we just hold it out, and I think Dusty does a halftime. Boom, ta, ta, boom, bam, bam. Like, you know, and I think that's actually cool too. They're both cool ideas. You know, you can go either way with them. But so I'm glad that this demo exists. The vocals, I mean, what I would do is I would take the 2-track recording that we did live in the room, and then I would just dump it onto like a phone or an iPad or something. I think the iPad was kind of a new thing at the time, and I was all enamored by it. And I would dump it into this program called GarageBand, and I'd just sing into the whatever the mic was on the phone or the iPad, and it wasn't professional by any means. And I would just kind of mix it in and at a level that sounded good, and that's it. I like so primitive with recording techniques. I don't know how to punch in or anything like that.
All right, early jam room demo makes me laugh because it's kind of wild, a little unhinged. Riffs are definitely kind of different going on there, different things going on. It's pretty fast. Yeah, the guys haven't really found their groove yet on this one, but that's what you do in the room. That's why you have a jam room.
So this early jam room demo, this is a very discombobulated recording, and you could tell that this is like when we were first writing the song. The intro is different. It's not bang, dang, dang, dang. It's bang, dang, 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 right? Kind of more bluesy kind of feel to it. And, I think we kind of we're trying to figure out what's going on here. Let's get the riffs on tape. We kind of have a general idea. Also, you notice that there's the bridge riff comes in a lot here, almost as a pre-chorus. It's before I had written the other pre-chorus, the look behind you is coming to get you. I do remember writing that riff and then going, well, we don't want to throw this pre-chorus away. Let's add it in the bridge before the solo. The solo also goes a little long. We were trying to figure all this out. And then the ending of the song ends just how we started. And I think you can kind of hear Dusty laugh at the end, at the end of this. This is another one recorded at Rockin' Rick's, just the three of us. And it definitely has, I don't know if Dusty used to drink a lot of coffee, so I used to give him a hard time about that because, slow down. But you could tell this is the beginning of something that we were very excited about.
Hey guys, Nesbitt here. If you'd like to support Night Demon and this podcast, the best way to do it is to become a Night Demon subscriber. Not only will you be doing your part to support a true heavy metal band out there really living it, you'll also gain access to a ton of extras. Bonus audio content, a subscriber-only merch store with rare items from the band's archives. You can stream never-before-heard demos and unearth live concerts from the live vaults. Communicate with the other Night Demon diehards on an exclusive subscriber forum, and gain early access to all press releases, album pre-orders, new merchandise, and a ton more. And another thing that I think is pretty cool is Night Demon will be donating 10% of every subscription fee to the Metal Cares Foundation, which is a charitable fund the band started in 2014 to aid those in our metal community. So head over to nightdemon.net/subscriber and join us as we make heavy metal history together as one. And on a side note, I'll personally think you're a grade A badass.
So the guitar riff, yeah, man. Got some Diamond Head vibes there. Some hammer-on pull-off kind of thing going on. It's based in the key of A.
Yeah, the intro guitar riff is great. Something Brent came up with is very Brent style, Night Demon style, Diamond Head style, early Metallica style. I mean, that's kind of like our wheelhouse, right? You know, a lot of riffs that I write end up being the same like that. At that time, we kind of had the same brain. You know, we were kind of sharing the same ideas creatively. So it's like when I heard it, it was immediately like, okay, yeah, that's a keeper. Let's flesh this out.
Yeah, just a good kind of rock riff. I mean, the verse is pretty simple, just chugging on the A. And a few chords to break it up every 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ba bo ba. The walk down into the bridge part. It's funny, we've been talking about that part recently because there was a way that we played it, or how I learned it. There's a little walk-up thing that we kind of realized that we were adding that actually isn't in the actual recording. So it's funny, things kind of like evolve over time. You know, you play something for so many years or so many times live, and then there's still kind of like some new things that pop up, and you're like, oh my God, I probably played this fucking 300 times and played it wrong, I guess. But it's such a small little part that, nobody would really notice it except the real purists, maybe your other guitar players that studied the album tracks. I'll notice that kind of shit sometimes when I go see bands live. I'm like, especially when there's like a new guitar player or something, or a different, member of the band. And it's like, I can tell when they're not playing things exactly like the record, which sometimes is fine and sometimes actually ends up being better than the record, which I feel like how this song has evolved.
The solo, that's actually me playing on the actual album as well. It was a solo that I wrote, and I think Brent just felt more comfortable with me doing it. Yeah, I mean, if you listen to this compared to the demo version, right, I get a little faster. Instead of it's a right. It's still not anything great. I don't think it's very impressive, but the notes are there. The point gets across. Sometimes simpler is better, right? Again, listen to Armand play this thing live now. It's just like, man, it's lights out. It's the way it should be. But yeah, it's like I didn't really feel too comfortable playing guitar on the record, but I did. You all pull together as a band, and whoever is in the right position to do it does it. And that's what matters. It's a unit, right? So it's not taking anything away from anybody else. Obviously, Brent was playing the solos live. But I think just at the time, I was a bit more connected to it. And I think that's why it ended up the way that it was.
But in Screams, I throw some double kick in there. There's some, I call it the pre-thrash beat where it's on the up. And, all the snares come in on the upbeat. I think it has all the elements of what I bring to the table as far as Night Demon. There's power, there's attack, there's feel, there's groove.
The bass riffs before the breakdown. Yeah, I mean, I was just always trying to do a little bit more with the bass. Today, I mean, these days, you listen to Night Demon stuff, like, I don't know, maybe I'm doing too much. I just always try and make it a little bit more interesting, especially since it's a one guitar band. You have to stick with the root notes a lot because you lose a lot of low end, but that's why I'm into bass fills. So you just find your spots where you can just sneak in really quick and do something that's not just flashy, but that's something that's pleasing to the ear that you know, as a listener, you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. You know, there's some musicianship going on here. Okay, walking through the lyrics on the final version. Now, keep in mind that they did evolve. The demo, you know, I was kind of just spitballing some stuff. So first verse, all alone as the night takes the day, two young lovers park to get away. That noise you heard? Oh, it's just in your head. Little do you know, you're going to wind up dead.
All alone as the night takes the day, two young lovers park to get away. That noise you heard, oh, it's just in your head. Little do you know you're gonna wind up dead.
Pre-chorus. Look behind you, he's coming to get you. With his axe in his hands, screams in the night.
Look behind you, he's coming to get you. With his axe in his hands, screams in the night. Screams in the night. Screams in the night. Screams in the night.
Second verse. The beast is charged and he's ready to go. Swings his axe with one fatal blow. You look in horror and you start to pray. Nothing left to do but just try to get away.
The beast is charged and he's ready to go. Swings his axe with one fatal blow. You look in horror and you start to pray. Nothing left to do but just try to get away.
Pre-chorus again. Look behind you, he's coming to get you. With his axe in his hands, screams in the night.
Look behind you, he's coming to get you. With his axe in his hands, screams in the night. Screams in the night. Screams in the night. Screams in the night. Oh!
So it's basically, you know, it's not Shakespeare, right? But it's literally telling the story of that first scene in the comic. And it's from a third person point of view as well. So it's nice to be able to do that. And, you know, we didn't take it from a first person point of view from Eugene or from the woman or the man in the car. It's kind of like a narrator, you know, the crypt keeper kind of setting it up.
Screams in the night. Oh.
Yeah, like I said before, this is one of the most played songs because of, you know, it's one of those fan favorites, you know. It's one of the hits. That's what I would call it. As far as where this one ends up in the set, that's changed over the years. When I first joined the band, it was the opener. You know, right after the Blades or whatever it's called, the Conan, the theme music, opening music that we used to use live. We would just bang right into this one and get the fucking show going. You know, it's a good show starter, I think. So now it's a little more tucked. It's definitely in the top, quarter of the set.
We usually stick this one in the beginning of the set. It's usually song number 2. And that's simply because, well, you want to always open with a new song. So we've always opened with Outsider since I've been in the band. But after that, you want to reel them in with a classic, something that they definitely are familiar with and have known for a long time. And that's the ultimate song to just grab people early on in the set. So that's why it's usually, if not second, very close to the beginning of the set. But when we do, that's at least for opening slots. When we have a full set, sometimes we'll throw it in a bit later on, but I think in most instances it's been very early within the first few songs. Yeah, it's always a great song to play live. I've played it live at almost every single show we've played. Very few shows would ever happen where this doesn't get played. I don't think it has ever not been played at a show that I've done with them. But it's good energy. It's good one to just pound out and gets the crowd going. You can guarantee that this one will most likely always be in the set. If you're going to go see Night Demon, you have a very, very high chance of hearing this song. And I think it's going to be that way for most of the band's career.
Screams in the Night is an absolute belter, and it's one that really, really gets people going. I've noticed that when the boys play it live, I think it's generally been like towards the front end of the set. And especially on the last couple of tours they've played support, I've kind of noticed that, you know, they start the set and people might be like intrigued and tapping their toes. Screams in the Night plays and like people are sold. They are in. They like know what's up. Because like the song just kicks in straight away. It's hard, it's fast, it's heavy metal, it's, you know, it hits you right in the face. And yeah, I think it's a great song, like even on that merit. So I do all the lights for the band like live. That is to say, like nothing is sort of programmed or whatever. So essentially on my board, it's nearly like a keyboard, but with faders, you know, so like I'm physically playing along with everything that they do. And this one, it's hard work, but it also sort of gives me the most satisfaction to do, I think maybe out of any Night Demon song, because there's a couple of wee punchy bits that we've kind of worked out that just really, they just pack a payload, you know, and I think it really ties in with the music well. So like, you know, the song starts in, it's like on the first beat, it's all go, you know, all guns blazing. So just before the vocals kick in, that last bam 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 bam. So I black it out there. Ba 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 black, and then kicks back in a beat later. And that, you know, it's a split second, but it really seems to make the audience pay attention if they weren't already. So yeah, it's just like a fun wee thing. Also, like we do some like really selective use of strobes there. I purposefully try to just use strobes when it's just like really appropriate and necessary, and like don't prolong those bits, because like personally, like I just find it annoying at shows, you know, when it's just really, really strobe heavy. It's kind of, it just tires your eyes, you know, and you don't need it. I think, like, especially for a band like Night Demon, you know, just let the music talk. But in this kind of in Screams, like on the double kick parts, I think it works really, really well to have that like black and white strobe and then the blackout and then straight into the song. I always make sure it's like punchy sort of colors for this. I usually go like a red wash and maybe some yellow spots or cyan spots or something, you know, like something sort of fiery and upbeat. Yeah, and the other fun lighting part is right at the end of the song. And like this one, I don't know, people lose their shit when this happens, and it's so fun. Just before the big whoa, Jarvis, when he sings "Screams in the Night," when he says "night," I black out the stage, and when he whoa, I bring the lights back up, and people, whatever it is with the timing of that, because I suppose they've just had like, you know, 2 minutes of like just such a like killer song, and they're like all hyped up for the lights to suddenly go out. Like people always just like throw their hands up and they're like punching the sky and they're screaming, and oh, I just love it. Like it's one of my favorite moments in every set.
As far as what I do with this one live, solo wise, yeah, there's a couple little notes that I've tweaked and changed, just, you know, kind of like how I would do it if I had recorded it, you know. Whether that was something that I did, you know, really consciously, or just kind of the way I started playing it and no one really corrected me on it. So I figured, all right, well, it's cool. I like to put a little bit of my own spin on things. I mean, shit, I don't even really necessarily play all the solos that I wrote exactly the same live. So, you know. to me, those are the parts where I feel like, you get a little bit of room for improvisation, a tiny bit, which is something fun to do, especially when it's a song that you fucking play every night, that you've played hundreds of times. It's kind of nice to be able to try a little something different and just give it a little extra life. And for me, being a fan, I hope that they, the fans pick up on that and, appreciate those kind of things. I mean, that's a thing about, you go see a band multiple times, right? And, I mean, unfortunately these days, a lot of bands, even the bigger bands like Maiden and stuff, they don't really veer from anything, setlist wise or anything from night to night. So people go and see them multiple nights and it's the same exact show, so it's cool. I like to be able to change it up, We've talked about doing that with the set list from time to time. Obviously it's the more production you have, the harder it gets to be able to do that kind of stuff because you have other people expecting you to do certain things. But they got to be ready and know all the songs and know how to just go with it on the fly, I think. So that's a cool thing that we bring.
Getting the audience to chant Screams in the Night, I think that started on the Live Darkness album.
Screams in! Screams in! Screams in the night!
That's just kind of something that you try these things live and they end up just sticking, right? It works, so let's keep doing it. And, it's kind of one of those songs, even if I call an audible live, if we go into that song, I could start doing that and the rest of the guys in the band know what's going on. So, but yeah, that is a cool thing about this song. If we're not trailing out from another song and going right into it, that's how we do it. But, either way, we rarely count this song off. It's just we kind of make eye contact and know when to go into it. So that's a really cool thing. I will say though, we have had a lot of false starts on this song before. It took a while to kind of get used to that, but we kind of stop it right away and laugh. It doesn't happen very often anymore, and it didn't happen often back in the day. But I do remember times where it's been like, bam, 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 bam. Hold on, everybody wait up. But those human moments are what make life worth it, right?
Some of the funnier times when we've played this song, for whatever reason, be it a show that is either kind of not going as well as we'd like it to. Jarvis has played with the lyrics a bit. Some of the choice changes he's made is screams in the butt or screams in my butt, or a little nod to our good friend and sometimes merch guy and all around sort of, he's a photographer and just he's very German, Nicholas Brem, a.k.a. Das Funk. So we've also sang Screams in Das Funk for him when he's in town or he's at a show. And, we get away with, have a little fun. Jarvis has a little fun with things like that. A little chuckle on stage with that.
One of the things that really stands out to me about playing this song live is how cool it is when Jarvis uses the wah pedal on Armand's pedal board for him while he's at the front of the stage doing the solo. I've never seen anybody else do that before. So that's one thing that even before I was in the band that I picked up on, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's unique. I do recall one show, I don't remember when or where, but when Jarvis was using Armand's wah pedal while he was doing the solo, at the end he has to click off the effect and so he can go back to his rhythm tone. And whenever he did that, he ended up putting some kind of other effect on or left the effect on or put some kind of phaser on. So when it goes back into the main riff of the song, it had this effect on it that wasn't supposed to be there. And I remember Armand going back to his pedal board to turn it off, and him and I looking at each other and just kind of laughing about it.
This would have to be in my top 5 favorite Night Demon songs of all time. It really, really represents the Curse of the Damned album. And, you know, even though it was an afterthought, you'll find that with a lot of bands. You'll find that, you know, Paranoid was written as an afterthought. Metallica, a couple albums ago, Hardwired was written as an afterthought, and it ended up becoming the album title and probably one of the strongest songs on the record. Those are just a couple examples, but this does happen a lot with bands, and I think it's a good sign. So, you know, you have to make sure that before you complete an album that you've really squeezed out all of the creative energy that you have in you at that moment in time. And it's nice to be able to, when these kind of things come in at the end of an album, at the end of album writing sessions, I should say, a lot of times there's not a lot of pressure because you kind of already feel good about what you have. And when that pressure is relieved, you are free to explore. And that's when magical moments like this happen.
Screams in the Night. It's just going to be one of those songs that's going to be around forever. It'll probably be in every freaking set list we play until the band is over, whenever that happens, or if it ever happens. So keep on keeping on and keep screaming in the night.
Well, that's it for this week and Screams in the Night. We're diving deep into Curse on its 10th anniversary. CurseDamn.com for all the info you need on Curse of the Damned 10-year anniversary, the Ultimate Edition of the album, remixed, the Eugene action figure, Curse at 10 tour dates, everything else you want to know about Night Demon at nightdemon.net. While you're at nightdemon.net, check out how you can become a Night Demon subscriber. The subscribers section has hundreds of live audio files. There's full shows, audio, video, unreleased tracks, tons of bonus content. This week, you can find the full demos for Screams in the Night that we talked about on this episode. I also stuck a bunch of live versions of Screams in the Night up there, ones that I hand-selected from the past few tours. Tons of content waiting for you at nightdemon.net. And until next week, this is Nesbitt signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast. Head over to nightdemon.net, click on the subscriber tab, and sign up to access exclusive weekly bonus content. If you would like to donate to support the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast, you can do so through PayPal at paypal.me/nightdemonmetal. Additionally, if you have not already done so, please subscribe, like, rate, and review the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All hail, Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. This is Dusty Squires chiming in to tell you about my brand new signature sticks from the London Drumstick Company. I've dreamt of having my very own drumsticks ever since I was a wee lad, and LDC made that a possibility for me. Founded in 2016 in London, England, the birthplace of heavy metal, the London Drumstick Company has trailblazed a path through the music industry and taken the drummer world by storm. When I met them for the first time, they knew their product was going to withstand the beatings of a Night Demon show. They took the time to work with me on getting everything just right. The balance and weight of my sticks are the same no matter what, and the durability is bar none the best I've ever had. I know my sticks will last through the set night after night. I'm truly honored to work with a company that caters to their players the way LDC does. Their innovation and attention to detail is what separates them from the rest of the stick makers out there. Their custom stick sleeves are unbelievable and really make the entire presentation complete. Wait until you see the design they came up with for me. It blew my mind and was a surprise to say the least. They have all kinds of amazing swag, including hoodies, t-shirts, drummer shorts, drum keys, stick bags, towels, face masks, practice pads, and much, much more. Even if you're not a drummer, you can be a part of Demon history and order my brand new signature sticks direct from their website. How cool is that? And to top it off, the London Drumstick Company are giving an exclusive offer to the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast listeners. Go to londondrumsticks.co.uk and receive a 15% store-wide discount using promo code DEMONSTICKS. All capital letters, no spaces, Demon Sticks. DEMONSTICKS. I can't thank everyone there enough for the opportunity to be a part of their family and for them trusting me with their amazing products. See you metal maniacs on the road very soon. And yes, the wood chips will be flying.
Greetings, boils and ghouls. This is your comrade, the Crypt Keeper here, reporting dead from the sanctuary of the strange. Tonight's macabre myth is a fright-filled feature, one overflowing with monsters, madness, and magic.
Visit our website at monstersmadnessandmagic.com to stay up to date on all the dark dealings within the sanctuary of the strange. Enjoy the show.
Hey Metalheads, I'm Mark and I host the Metal Forge. Let me tell you about the show. The Metal Forge features the best underground metal from all over the world. We spend every week with a different artist with interviews, in-depth conversations, and most of all, the music. We also feature audience interactivity where you can submit your questions to the upcoming guests. New episodes are out every Friday at noon Eastern Time at metalforgeradio.com or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Want to know what's going on in the world of music? Then tune in to the Nothing Shocking Podcast, a non-genre based, all-ages friendly rock and roll program. Join us weekly for interviews with all your favorite rock stars from the mainstream to the underground. You can find us at nothingshocking.libsyn.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
Okay, metalheads, you've been complaining that there has not been a channel that plays all of the heavy metal videos from past, present, and future for years and years at this point. Well, that time is over. Heavy Metal Television is back. HeavyMetalTelevision.net is the website. Go there. You can see videos playing 24/7, 365, all the time, all the best from the old school, the new school, and everything in between. Check it out, HeavyMetalTelevision.net. It is where the metal is.